Hello, fellow ink drinkers, and welcome back to the Blind Girls Book Talk podcast. My name is Aria.
And I'm Belle.
And we are two legally blind sisters who love reading and love books. And so what we've done is we've created this show in order to talk about that. We talk about a wide variety of bookish content, and that can range from bad retellings of stories, book-to-movie adaptation comparisons, buddy reads, recent reads, bookish challenges. Really, the list does go on and on. And today is actually Belle's birthday episode.
It's my birth.
It is your birth.
I was birthed today.
Yes. And so due to this fact of her birth, we have since decided that this will be a bookish conversation with Belle, just how I had my bookish conversation. So, without further ado, I'm just going to give it to her, and she
hate you.
She will tell us what we're going to be talking about today.
We're going to talk about Harry Potter. Because I've been recently talking to Ari about this for a couple weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
We've been venting this. We've also just been sending each other like Harry Potter themed reels on Instagram for some unknown reason, because they keep coming up in our For You page, I think.
Well, it comes up in yours, and eventually, like, I kind of track down some people. Like, I don't know her username, and hopefully if you've been on Instagram, you know who I'm talking about. But there's this girl. She has really short hair, and she has, like, kind of, like, interactions between the different, like, houses. Like, someone from Ravenclaw and someone from Slytherin, or someone from Hufflepuff and someone from Gryffindor or Slytherin. Like, it's just these different interactions that are based on the houses. And Belle has been sending me a lot of those ones, and I actually really like her stuff because it's really funny.
I mean, to be fair, you first sent me the one with the Ravenclaw come pick up your Gryffindor.
Oh, yeah. It's like that kind of stuff, and it's just really funny, and like they're good. I like them.
Yeah. Anyway, so this started because I sent Arya one of her reels on You May Be a Hufflepuff If, and legit it was everything Arya does. So then we started talking, and then we also talked about the idea of the Sorting Hat getting it wrong.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we talked about that because there was something that I saw a while ago. I didn't watch the whole thing because for me, sometimes, like, I'm interested and then it gets to the point where I don't care. And so when it came to the Sorting Hat getting it wrong, I think I was only interested because they said Hermione.
Everybody says it's Hermione, Snape. Who else? There was another one.
Was it
another
Luna?
big one. No, I don't think it was Luna.
I don't remember. But whatever it was, like, it interested me for 0.5 seconds. But I did mention it to Belle for her to, like, look into further, because Belle will go down the rabbit holes that I don't want to go down.
Especially with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, I'll go down a rabbit hole with. If it's Fantastic Beasts related, Arya will tend to go down the rabbit hole, but
Even then, it's a stretch.
it's a stretch for you. I'm a nerd.
Because, like, okay, here's my thing. I like Harry Potter, don't get me wrong. But, like, there are people that, like, live, breathe, and, like, know everything about it. And I'm not that person.
Well, I don't think I'm that person either.
But you know a lot more than I do. Because the other thing, too, is the time between when I read the books is longer than the time since you've read the books to today.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. And I think I liked the books more than you did. And you liked the movies.
Because you started on book one.
Yeah, I started on book one.
You started on book one.
I think we mentioned this before, but like I got into Harry Potter because of Arya, because she was like, let's go see Fantastic Beasts. And we went and we saw the first Fantastic Beasts movie together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was real confused through the entire thing. I would lean over to Arya and I'm like, what is happening? What is this nonsense?
So then I was just like, you need to read Harry Potter. And
Yeah.
I had asked for a box set one Christmas. So I had lent it to Belle, and Belle became obsessed. And again, she started book 1. I started book 3 in the 90s.
She started late. She started wrong, and then she never went back to fix her mistake. And now here we are.
Right.
Years and years and years later, and still no mistake has been fixed. And
Right.
But she likes the movies. I remember you loved the movies.
Yes. And because, yeah, the movies were another thing that came out that were like this really big deal for me, because that's also around the time that the Lord of the Rings movies came out.
I hated those
And
too.
to me, and I could be wrong, but this is my opinion, the Lord of the Rings movies and the Harry Potter movies are what kind of sparked the fandoms. How do I want to say it? Like,
It created the culture of fandoms.
correct. Yes.
Gotcha.
Because, like, with Harry Potter, that was the one that really, I think, had a lot of backing, and I don't know why. But
I don't know.
like,
I remember nobody shamed me. I read the series when I was like 16, 17 years old. Nobody shamed me, okay? It happened that way.
No. I mean, because honestly, the thing about Harry Potter is, and I think that's why it's such a big thing, is that adults can enjoy it just as much as kids can. Like, this is truly a children's quote unquote series that any age range can enjoy.
I was also just late because I boycotted it because of Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
I did boycott it as a child. I refused. But now I love it. But anyway, I was studying ballet, and I was in New York that summer. I was studying at an academy for the summer. My wonderful Australian teacher, his name was Mr. Pickup, okay? Like, he was a wonderful human being. I loved Pickup. We all loved Mr. Pickup. He was so funny. But anyway, we were doing point that day, and he'd joke around with us because we were the older girls. And he was joking around with us, and he made a Harry Potter reference, and I was the only one who picked it up. And I was reading, like, I think I was reading book 4 at the time, but I understood his reference, and I got real excited, and he got real excited with me. It was really funny. We both kind of did, like, a little scream, like, fangirl scream. And it was really funny. But anyway, so then he was talking about how he remembers, like, the lines at Barnes and Nobles and other bookstores, like, at, like, midnight before the book came out that day, and, like, how big of a deal it was. And everybody's like, oh, no, we were just alive for the movies. And he's like, no, you missed it.
Yeah,
Like, you missed it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember that being a huge deal. And for me, because I was a little late getting into it. Like, again, book 3 is when I picked it up. And after book 3, I think book 4 might have been, like, close behind. Like, it's when I started hearing about it more and paying attention to it more and actually wanting to get the books. And I think book 4 is the first book that I got. And then from there, like, you know, you would hear all the time about everybody lining up to get those books at like camping out at Barnes and Noble at midnight to get the books. And then they started selling like the other like swag things, you know, like the Bertie Bott's beans and, you know, those kind of things. And it became kind of what fandoms are today. But at the time, it didn't used to, like, in the 90s, it didn't exist. Like, that was the first of its kind. Yeah. Like, there might have been things that were close before, but this was like the first wide scale thing. Because it's so mainstream nowadays and it happens all the time, it's so hard to like impress upon the fact that like that was the first.
Like, it
first
started
of its
everything.
Time.
Yeah.
And the first of its kind. And it started everything. And so because of all of that, like, I would wait until a couple weeks later and get the book.
I mean, that's what we do. I don't think we've ever... The only way we've ever gotten a book, in quotation marks, the day it came out, is if we ordered it from Amazon.
No. That's a lie. I got Breaking Dawn the day it came out.
Oh,
I did.
Stupid Twilight.
I did.
Anyway, we're not talking about that. This is my birth episode, no Twilight references. Anyway, Sorting Hat did not get it wrong. And here's why. So, Arya brought it to me about how it was like the huge thing of Sorting Hat got it wrong. Hermione should have been in Ravenclaw. Here's why she was not sorted into Ravenclaw and should not have been sorted into Ravenclaw. And it is why the Sorting Hat did not get anybody else wrong. Because if you think about it, the Sorting Hat doesn't place you necessarily on your personality because you don't have a personality at 11 years old. You don't. No one has that. If you have that, I worry for you because you are definitely going to change by the time you're 25. So the whole thing with the Sorting Hat is it's based on what you value most because your values from a young age shouldn't really change that much on what you value, which is why Hermione was placed in Gryffindor because she even says to Harry, books and cleverness is nothing compared to friendship and bravery. Right there, she pretty much pulls out that technically she should have been either sorted into Hufflepuff or Gryffindor.
Mm-hmm.
However, she very much values bravery over friendship. Therefore, it's correct that she would be sorted into Gryffindor. This led to our other conversation like a couple weeks later of it is why Arya will show the personality of a Hufflepuff, yet she's a Ravenclaw because she values books and cleverness. Yet she has many Hufflepuff characteristics. Whereas I value courage and bravery, making me a Gryffindor. However, I very much have the personality of a Slytherin.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe where, I don't know if people get it confused, like if it's not something that you think about often. Because like, I feel like people nowadays think that your personality and your values are like the exact same thing.
They are
like,
not.
It's all rolled into one. And I think kind of the nuance between those two things has almost been forgotten in a way.
Yeah.
Like you can have things that you value. You can have a different kind of personality. And like, yeah, they go hand in hand. But like in the case of something like Harry Potter, there is a difference between the two. There is this dichotomy between them that, like in real life, they blend a lot more than what they do in Harry Potter, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yes. But still, I don't know. That's my whole thing because I feel like the fandom has made it personality-based completely. Yes, your personality has some things to do with what you value. However, your values aren't 100% based on that.
The fandom is probably going to come for us.
Come for me. I dare you.
No, do not. Do not.
Yeah, please don't.
No.
I got too much other stuff I need to worry about.
No, but like that's my thing, or at least that's my interpretation of it. Like I do agree with this interpretation, although I'm curious about the Snape one.
Yeah, I forget where they say he should have been put, but like his was wrong. I don't like Snape either way.
I love Snape.
You love Snape. I dislike Snape. I watched another reel by somebody else on YouTube Shorts, and they like said like pretty much if you read the books, you hate Snape. Like you will hate Snape. But if you loved the movies and watched the movies, you love Snape.
But see, okay, then I'm the wrong human because my thing is that maybe it's because I didn't read book 1 and 2.
Probably.
But like from my reading from book 3 to book 7, I didn't hate Snape. Like I was just kind of like, I think I was more neutral towards Snape. I
was neutral to Snape.
I was neutral until book 7. And then book 7 with kind of his backstory and everything that happened, that's what changed for me. And that's when I just like, I love him. Also, too, because I think when did book 7 come out? Because I think that like the books were still coming out when they started doing the movies.
They did. It was still kind of happening because J.K. Rowling was still writing the books, and Emma Watson asked her, "Am I gonna like have to kiss both of them, like Rupert and Daniel?" And J.K. Rowling's like, "If it's going how I plan, yeah."
Mm-hmm. And so, like for me to then get into the movies and then just kind of like to then hit book 7. It was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of this perfect storm of me being like, I love Snape. Like, I'm trying to think of like other than Umbridge. Umbridge is the character.
Umbridge is the character that everybody hates. Anybody who likes Umbridge, you need to see somebody, and you need therapy, and you need help severely. Like, anybody who likes Umbridge, I worry for you.
Yeah, but like other than her, I can't think of anybody that I had a very strong like knee jerk, like absolutely not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, because even like people like Voldemort, and Voldemort, I'm neutral against.
Yeah,
like I'm
Voldemort, I'm just like, he's the big bad. Like, I know he's the big
fine.
bad.
It's the big bad. Yeah,
and that's fine. But like for me, I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I'm like meh when it comes to him.
Although, okay, Dumbledore.
I don't like Dumbledore.
Dumbledore, I'm neutral. Like, I'm neutral towards. My thing is, like, I know there's a lot of subtext, like, through everything. Like, everything ever, there's this subtext. And, like, I just don't feel like trying to wade through all the stupid subtext. Like, I really don't. That's the thing about Dumbledore, is that he is an enigma wrapped in subtext, wrapped in an old man. Like, I'm just like, it's not for me. Like, it's just not. Like, you can have that. Somebody else can have that and figure that out. It's just, it isn't me.
No, and I think going back to Harry Potter being popular, I think a reason why it was so popular is there's really just about a person who can fit with a character.
Yeah, there is a lot of different...
There's a person anyone can kind of relate to.
Yeah, for the
in
most
some
part.
way. In some way.
For the most part.
For the most part. In some way you can relate to somebody. Because, like, I know for me, I always related very strongly to Hermione. Because I am a bossy know-it-all. And I will admit it. I will not shame. I am a bossy know-it-all. Arya knows this.
Mm-hmm.
She's smiling at me.
Mm-hmm.
And Arya is loony.
I'm a Luna. Like,
you are. You're loony.
I relate highly to Luna in some regards. In the regards of just kind of being like, I'm just off in my own little world. And that is Luna. Like, she's just off doing her thing in her own little world. And I'm like, me. That's me.
Yes.
Okay, so but the whole subtext thing, though, it does bring around just Hermione in general. I know there's a lot of like things around there how book Hermione and how movie Hermione are very, very different. But the one thing that's very interesting to me is the whole who Hermione ends up with, right?
Yes.
Because when it was Ron, like, do you know?
I'm surprised there wasn't a revolution.
No, because the thing was, again, because this whole concept of the fandom was so new, like, the way it kind of went is like whatever the author did, we all were just fine with. Like, it wasn't like now where everybody's like, It was just kind of like, the author has deemed it and so it shall be. Like,
that's pretty much what
that's exactly how it was. So I was surprised by it. Like, don't get me wrong. The other thing too is that, like, I never liked Ron. Like,
I tolerated him. Here was my thing when it comes to the Hermione-Ron relationship. I was never one who agreed that the relationship kind of benefited them both. I always kind of thought, like, you know, Ron got more out of it than Hermione did. And, like, it was more fulfilling for Ron than it was for her because of the, you know, he was always second place, would never get the girl, was, like, always kind of in the background. And so, like, him getting Hermione was just, like, something he needed as a win.
Yeah, and even then, though, like, I don't know, like, Ron just annoys me. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He does. And, like, even when I read the books, like, I don't remember ever being like, Ron, like, Team Ron. You know what I mean?
I was also never really Team Harry. It was more so just like,
yeah, I wasn't either.
I think
I wasn't either, actually.
No, I wasn't. Here was my thing. The only reason I would say for Hermione to end up with Harry is because those two were very close. Like, it wasn't like one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
They were together. It was always Potter and Granger. And Ron, whenever he wasn't being...
Ron.
Yeah. That was the another reason. And, like, yes, their relationship and friendship in the books is really cute.
It is.
But, like, I don't know. I think it may just be my thing
But the
as...
thing was, though, too, is that I never was like Harry and Ginny.
I wasn't either. But, okay, we're going
Back.
way off track.
We're going back.
But, like, I think my whole thing is with, like, in terms of who Hermione should have ended up with, it's just because I share a lot of same character traits as her. I know that I wouldn't be happy unless I had someone to kind of challenge me.
And I think this is where the fan fictions come in.
It is. I know it is.
Yeah.
I know
because
it
you
is.
know who they put her with, don't you?
I know they put her with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Just go on.
Who do they put her with? Because, okay,
Well, it depends on what you're looking for.
there's only one that I've heard of. Okay, and I haven't read it. I don't know anything about it. I only know the names, and it's with Draco. It's always Draco.
There's a
and
lot
Hermione.
that put her with Draco and Hermione. A lot will do Harry and Hermione. Some will do Fred and Hermione. Which that one, I can see that relationship. I feel like that would have been the best way to go.
I feel like, honestly, either one of the twins.
Either one of the twins, I think would have been a great.
Draco would have been interesting.
Draco would have been that one would have been interesting.
That would have been
I would
interesting.
admit, that one would have been interesting, and I'm more okay with that than Ron or Harry.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's just me. She's such a strong female character, the brightest witch of her age. She needs something that will challenge her in some way or match her, and that was never Ron or Harry.
No, it wasn't. And, like, because I'm trying to even think, like, who else would it have been, right?
I know some, and I'm going to sell myself out here. There are some that somehow Hermione travels back in time and ends up with James. Yeah.
That is a no. Oh my gosh. That killed me a little bit inside.
Yeah, but here's the reason why I'm a bit better kind of with that one is the personality of what James was similar to the Weasley twins. So, like, for me, that works. Like, I can see that working out. I don't agree with it. Nobody come for me. But, like, I can see how that would kind of work.
Okay, time travel aspects aside, because, like, that is too much for me and I can't. Sticking with the kind of the where in time they are.
Yes.
Like I said, I don't agree with Ron. I never did. I always thought that was such a weird thing. I don't think she should have ended up with Harry either, because I don't think, like,
I
that was
think
it
if
either.
okay, one other thing that gets me kind of mad when it comes to Harry and Ginny. Here's my thing with when it comes to Ginny. Like, yeah, I'm a bit more for her and Harry's relationship because Ginny kind of does, I want to say, challenge Harry in some way.
Mm-hmm.
She does in the books and movies. You don't get that, but it's fine. Whatever. What I dislike is it's always that they compare Ginny to Lily. Because of their hair color. And it's no, their personalities are completely different. If you're going to compare personalities by who Harry should have technically ended up with, then it would have been Hermione. Lily was the brightest witch of that age. She was the brightest. She was the bookworm. She, stood up for what was right. Like, she was pretty much
A Hermione.
that era Hermione.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't think necessarily 100% as smart, but, like, she was that.
Yeah.
That bugs me when everybody's just like, oh, yeah, it's James and Lily, pretty much with Harry and Ginny, it's James and Lily are back. No, it's not.
Here's a controversial thought, just because, like, I'm just thinking about it. What if Hermione actually just ended up with Victor Crumb?
I would be also more okay with that.
Like, what if that, because, like, I don't remember much about that thing. Like, I only have the movie kind of going in my head. I don't remember how the book portrayed it, but in the movie, like, well, I think in the book too, I think he like actually adored her.
Yeah, he did. He actually really liked her because she didn't bow at his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And he really liked that. Yes, in the book, she would get kind of annoyed with him.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I want to say that was something that was a challenge that she could have, like, dealt with, was that she wasn't used to someone wanting all of her time and trying her patience in the way that Crumb did. I'm not saying Ron and Harry did not try her patience, because they did, but she would snap at them and
they
wouldn't
would roll
care.
over. Yeah, honestly, and I think this is why Ron bothers me so much. The core three,
Yes.
they are pretty much like siblings. Like, they feel like siblings.
They are. Honestly, like, they feel like siblings. I understand why people were pushing for her to end up with one of them. I understand that. I don't agree with it, but I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Does not mean I have to like it.
Right.
I also like Crumb better because, like, than Ron even, because at least he supported her and listened to her on stuff.
Yeah,
I
truly
when everything came up with Spew, the society for the house elves that she created.
Oh, yes.
How, like, Ron would just put her down for it constantly. The way he went about it with her, it was wrong.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, I'm just like, I really do feel like Crumb would have been so much better for her. Like,
Yeah.
or one of the twins.
I stand by one of the twins because I feel like the twins don't get enough credit for how smart they actually were.
Yeah. Because they are, like, the twins are just kind of like these hidden geniuses that everybody kind of overlooks because, like, they're only doing joke stuff. But they're actually geniuses.
But, like, they're actually geniuses. Like, the stuff that they create is genius.
Yeah.
So I feel like they would be able to fit with Hermione that way and understand that and, like, challenge her that way, as well as, you know, push her to kind of loosen up. Because that was something, like, Harry and Ron never did.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally, Hermione says something, either they'd yell back at her, or they'd roll over.
Yeah, it's the sibling thing. Like, it really is. I don't know, man. Again, these are our opinions. Don't come for us.
Yeah, don't come for us,
We're
please.
just saying our opinions. And this is a bookish conversation. We're allowed.
Be nice to me. It is my birth.
All right. Well, I think that about sums it up. We want to thank you guys for coming along today as we had a bookish conversation with Belle. Of course, if you like this episode, if you like what you've been listening to, please consider sharing the episode with your friends and following the podcast. It would really help us to grow the show, and we would appreciate the support those actions would give, but we're not asking you to go out and make friends, so don't do that.
Nope.
If you don't want to.
If you don't want to, don't do it. We ain't forcing you.
Now, what are we going to be doing next time?
Oh, that is a very good question.
That deserves a very good
It
answer.
really does. And the answer to that question is we're going to be doing a bit of a different episode.
Ah, yes. I know exactly what episode this is.
Yeah.
So,
Tomorrow, technically, starts.
the beginning of the month of May.
Yes,
And
it's tomorrow. It's the last day of April.
Anyway, and so because it is the month of May, May is actually, for those of you who don't know, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so what we've decided to do is we're going to talk about our mental health journey, so to speak, and kind of what we've been through. So there's not going to be a lot of bookish content tomorrow.
Next week.
So just kind of a warning for you now. There's going to be trigger warnings in the beginning of that episode as well. So, like, you know, there's going to be plenty of warnings, but just so you know where we're going next time. So hopefully we'll see you then. Bye.